The View studio was a pulsating hub of daytime television energy, its vibrant New York set aglow under bright lights as the enthusiastic audience erupted in applause, the iconic theme music fading to usher in a high-octane segment on a crisp September 2025 morning. Nicolas Cage, the Oscar-winning actor known for his eccentric flair and intense performances in films like National Treasure and Long Legs, sauntered onto the stage in a leather jacket and aviators, his quirky charisma drawing whoops from the crowd, there to promote his latest indie thriller and discuss his storied career. The air crackled with the promise of a lively debate, given Joy Behar's reputation for sharp-witted, no-holds-barred questioning and Cage's history of unpredictable, passionate responses, as seen in his 2024 Jimmy Kimmel Live appearance where he rambled about beekeeping with fervor. Joy, seated at the co-host table with Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah Haynes, and Sunny Hostin, kicked things off with her trademark sarcasm. "Nick, welcome. Your new film's wild, but let's be real, your acting style's so over the top, don't you think it's a bit much for audiences these days?" The audience chuckled, but Cage's smile tightened, his eyes glinting behind the shades. "Joy, my style's raw, it's art, fans love the intensity," he replied, his voice a mix of charm and edge. The crowd applauded, but Joy leaned forward, her grin sharp. "Art, Nick, some call it hammy." Those wild eyes and screams, "Isn't it just you cashing in on a gimmick?" The question was biting, echoing unverified 2025 YouTube claims of a clash, and Cage's eyebrows shot up. "Gimmick, Joy, I pour my soul into every role, not chasing trends like some TV hosts," he fired back, his tone sharp yet playful. The audience gasped, catching the dig, and Joy's eyes twinkled. "Trends? Nick, your movies are meme factory, so don't you worry, you're more caricature than character now." The studio buzzed with tension, and Whoopi tried to pivot. "Nick, your thrillers got buzz, tell us about it." But Cage held his ground. "No, Whoopi, let's address why Joy's framing my work as a joke." The crowd roared, split between those who loved Cage's fire and those who enjoyed Joy's wit. Joy, unfazed, raised an eyebrow. "Joke, Nick, I'm just saying what viewers think. Your overacting's legendary, but is it still serious?" Cage's jaw clenched, his voice rising. "Serious? I've got an Oscar, Joy, and not like your comedy bits that mock for laughs." The audience cheered, some clapping for Cage's passion, others murmuring at Joy's persistence. The producers, watching from the control room, exchanged nervous glances. This was veering off the chatty script, mirroring debunked YouTube tales of Cage storming off. Joy pressed on. "Oscar? That was ages ago, Nike, now it's all bees and memes. Don't you see the shift?" Cage's eyes narrowed, his tone sharp. "Shift? I'm evolving. Joy, you're twisting my art into a punchline." The stage was a powder keg, the crowd fueling the fire, as cameras zoomed in on Cage's intense stare and Joy's sly grin, setting the scene for a heated clash that would dominate headlines, though no verified 2025 incident occurred. As The View returned from a commercial break, the studio was a pressure cooker, the audience buzzing with excitement after the fiery opening exchange between Nicolas Cage and Joy Behar. The set's colorful backdrop felt almost ironic against the simmering tension, as Sarah tried to reset with her warm enthusiasm. "Welcome back, everyone, Nick Cage is here, and we're diving deep." But Cage, seated with his arms crossed, aviators off to reveal blazing eyes, wasn't in the mood for pleasantries, his gaze locked on Joy. "Diving deep, Joy, you've got more to say about my acting, let's hear it," he said, his voice dripping with challenge. The crowd gasped, and Joy leaned forward, her smile strained but mischievous. "Nick, I'm just curious, your films are so theatrical, but don't you worry it's a bit cartoonish for today's subtle audiences?" The question doubled down on her earlier jab, and Cage's jaw tightened. "Cartoonish, Joy? I'm pushing boundaries, and unlike your questions that play for cheap laughs," he fired back, his voice cutting through the applause. The audience erupted, some cheering Cage's intensity, others murmuring at his barb. Joy, undeterred, raised an eyebrow. "Cheap laughs, Nick, you're giving us meme-worthy meltdowns, so don't act surprised when we ask if it's real or just show." The jab was sharp, and Cage's voice rose. "Show? I live my roles. Joy, not like your snarky bits that skewer for ratings, the crowd roared, and Sonny tried to intervene. Nick, your indie works bolda, let's talk that, but Cage waved her off. No, Sonny, I'm tired of Joy painting me as some unhinged clown for her panel. The accusation landed like a punch, and Joy's grin faltered, her tone sharpening. Clown? Nick, I'm just doing my job asking questions. You're the one getting defensive. The audience was in a frenzy, some chanting Nick, while others clapped for Joy's wit. Cage leaned forward, his voice booming. Defensive? You're implying my art's a joke, Joy, like I'm some viral meme instead of an actor. The crowd gasped, and Joy's face reddened, her voice trembling with frustration. Meme? Nick, I'm a fan, but you're acting like I'm attacking your whole career. Cage's eyes narrowed, his tone icy. You are attacking me, Joy, turning my passion into a punchline. I thought this was The View, not a roast. The studio was chaos, the audience on its feet, as the producers signaled frantically for the band to play. The music started, but it couldn't drown out the drama. Joy, her hands gesturing, fired back. Roast? Nick, you're making this personal, acting like I'm the enemy. This is daytime TV. Cage stood, his hands on his hips. Daytime TV? You're using me for headlines, Joy, and I'm not here for it. The crowd roared, and Joy stood too, her voice booming. Headlines? Nick, you chose the spotlight. Don't cry foul when I ask real questions. The audience gasped, and the cameras stayed locked on the two, capturing every moment of the escalating feud. Cage's face contorted with fury. Real questions? You're throwing shade to look clever, Joy. I'm done. The producers, now in full panic, signaled for security, but the stage was a powder keg, and the fuse was burning fast. Despite no verified 2025 clash occurring, The View studio was a battlefield, the air thick with the heat of the escalating clash between Nicolas Cage and Joy Behar, the audience on the edge of their seats as the verbal duel reached a fever pitch. Cage, now standing, loomed over the set, his leather jacket a bold statement as he pointed at Joy. You think you are witty, Joy, turning my art into your talk show circus. But I'm not your meme machine. The crowd roared, split between those who admired Cage's fire and those who lived for Joy's razor-sharp banter. Joy, standing to match him, her voice sharp. Meme machine? Nick, you're serving up these wild performances. Don't act shocked when I question them. The jab was brutal, echoing unverified 2025 YouTube claims of Joy mocking Cage's style, and Cage's voice boomed. Question? You're accusing me of being a caricature, Joy, when I'm pushing boundaries. The audience gasped, and the band tried to play a light riff, but the noise was drowned out by the crowd's cheers. Joy, her eyes glinting, fired back. Boundaries? Nick, your films are viral stunts. Don't blame me for calling it out. The crowd gasped, and Cage's face reddened, his voice trembling with fury. Calling it out? I've built a career on risk, Joy, and I'm still standing. The insult was a direct hit, and Joy's smile vanished, her tone icy. Standing? You chose the spotlight. Nike, don't cry foul when I do my job. The studio was chaos, the audience on its feet, as Whoopi tried to regain control. Nick, your thriller's intense. Let's focus there. Cage, his fists clenched, snapped. Intense? Joy's twisting my work into clickbait, Whoopi, and I'm sick of it. The crowd roared, some chanting Nick, while others shouted Joy. As the tension skyrocketed, Joy, her hands on her hips, shot back. Clickbait. You gave us the script with your screaming roles. Nike, don't get mad when I read it. Cage's voice rose to a shout. Read it? You're attacking my integrity, Joy, like I'm some unhinged stunt. The audience gasped, and Joy's eyes narrowed, her voice booming. Stunt? I'm holding you accountable. Nike, something your fans let you dodge. The jab was a low blow, and Cage took a step closer, his voice a low growl. Accountable? You're just chasing laughs, Joy, and I'm not your prop. The crowd was in a frenzy, sensing the climax, as Joy fired back. Prop? This is The View. Nike, if you can't handle the heat, there's the door. Cage's eyes flashed with fury, his voice a shout. Heat? You went too far, Joy. He slammed his hand on the table, the sound echoing through the studio, and turned toward the wings. his strides purposeful. The audience roared, some cheering his exit, others booing Joy's audacity, as security moved in, unsure whether to follow. The cameras stayed locked on Cage, capturing the moment that would dominate headlines. Though no verified 2025 appearance by Cage involved such a clash, the producers, in full panic mode, signaled for the band to play, but the music couldn't drown out the chaos. As Cage paused at the edge, turning back with a steely gaze, "My art's real, not your punchline," as Nicolas Cage's silhouette vanished into the wings of the View studio. The set descended into pandemonium, the audience's cheers and boos merging into a deafening roar that echoed through the vibrant New York space. Joy Behar stood behind the co-host table, her face a mix of shock and defiance, as the band played a frantic riff to cover the awkward silence. "Well, folks, that's what happens when you get real on The View," she quipped, trying to regain control, but her voice betrayed a hint of unease. The crowd laughed, but the tension lingered, some chanting Nick in solidarity, others applauding Joy's boldness. Backstage, the producers were in a frenzy, their headsets crackling with urgent orders as they debated whether to cut to a pre-taped segment or let Joy ride out the storm. The cameras, still rolling, caught Joy adjusting her glasses, her smile returning as she addressed the chaos. "All right, everyone, Nick's passionate, and we love Fana, let's give him a hand." The crowd complied, but it was half-hearted, the room still reeling from the drama. Social media was already ablaze, with clips of the confrontation going viral, fans and critics dissecting every word, every gesture. Some praised Cage for standing